Wow. Just realized I didn't hit go live. Anyways, what we're working on right now is getting this to rotate properly, both the visual and the object itself. So as you can see, if I click here, both these zones are taken up, which is good. But if I put one right next to it, it still allows that, even though I'm supposed to take up both zones. So we gotta fix that. Then we have to fix the rotation. So over here, and I need to create a good event handler. If I go here, hit left, it's supposed to rotate this thing to left. Does that. However, visual's not rotating, so I gotta fix that as well. And then also over here, it goes off grid, so make sure that doesn't happen. All right, let's get to work.
On the origin position, then we're going to fill everything alongside the width and also everything alongside the height. And here on the scriptable object, I've got a function to do exactly that. Again, for now, we ignore the references to the direction. All that matters is really just this. So this function takes an offset, so that's the base offset, like for example the position where we're clicking on, and then simply cycles through the whole width, cycles through the whole height, and then adds it to the list. So just the offset plus the x and the y. It just does that and then returns a list of vector2 ints. Now we can go back into the grid building system, and here let's call in that function. So we're going to go into the placed object type scriptable object and call in that function to get the grid position list. And now we need to pass in the offset, which is going to be our xz, and this requires a vector2 int, so let's pass in the x and the z. And then for direction, again, right now we're not worrying about it, so let's use the default direction, which is down. We're going to see direction in a bit. Alright, so this returns a list of vector2 ints. So this is the grid position list, so all of the grid positions that this building will occupy. And all we need to do is over here when we set the transform, instead of setting just on one grid object, let's cycle through all of those. So for each vector2 int, for each grid position in the grid position list. For each of those, we're going to go into the grid and get the grid object on this grid position. And then we do our set transform. All right, so now we are setting the transform on all of those. So let's see. Okay, so here I am, and as I click, yep, there you go. Now it does fill in all the positions. So if I click here, nope, can't, nope, nope, and nope. All right, great. So placing is working. I cannot place any more on any of these positions. However, we still have one issue. If I click over here on the left side and I click, and yep, there you go. Now we've got another overlap. So the issue is that right now we're only testing if we can build on the clickable position. The answer is we need to apply the exact same logic that we just saw. We need to test if we can build, not just on where we click, but on all the positions that will be occupied by the new building. So over here we've got the grid position list. We just need to call can build on every single one of those. Alright, so here's
just like yeeted that one out of existence. Oh, I missed that. Wow, that's transform. Oh, oops, it's not function. It's just a boolean. Transform for each grid in the grid position. Do this afterwards. Utility class. Fails. Wait, that's my else. I'm doing wonderful here. Yeah, that got yeeted out of existence as well.
Here's the logic. So we just go through every grid position on the grid position list, all right? And then we test for every single one of them if we can build. And if there's just a single one that we cannot build, then we set this can build boolean into false. We break out of the cycle, and then down here, either it passed all of them or it didn't pass at least one of them. So if we test, so over here, let's build in here, all right? And if I click here, 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 or here, nope, all right, everything works. And now if I click here, and nope, cannot do it. If I click here, can't do it, and can't do it. Nice. But if I go here and click, yep, now it does work. All right, awesome. So we now have the ability to place on buildings with different sizes. Now next, let's handle rotation. For that, let's test with the click. Yep, now it does work. All right, awesome. So we now have the ability to place on buildings with different sizes. Nice. Now next, let's handle rotation. For that, let's test with the gas station, which has a width of 2 and height of 1. Like that, right. So here, if I place the gas station, yep, there you go, cool. It's like that. So let's rotate this one. As we saw previously on the scriptable object, I already defined an enum for the direction, so just down, left, up, and right. Now on the grid building system, let's store the current direction. So let's go into the place.
I decided to keep all 4 directions because one of the things I'm going to do after this, I'm going to make kind of a, not necessarily Tetris, but a here's another good tutorial on what I wanted to use, which is kind of like I guess I might as well just say Tetris. It's you're not like timed to put anything in, but you're essentially rotating and fitting things into a constrained space, and that's going to come in handy long term for a few of the games I have planned. So yeah, I guess the first thing I'll do is I'll just get that down pat, keep each direction, and see how it goes.
Place object type and store a direction, so the current direction that we want to build, and let's default it to down. All right.
Actually, that's added. Let me create another branch. I'll save this. Another already checked out? Yes, I am. Sweet. Okay.
Now for the road.
Good building system. He wants to. Oh, where I left off. Once you get the rotation. Okay, so
rotation, we need to swap this. So let's go into our update, and in here, let's listen. Let's say input get key down.
Yeah,
when
that's
we
what I have
press
already.
the R key, then we want to rotate the direction. So over here on the scriptable object, I've got this function to swap out and get the next direction. So down goes into left, left into up, and so on. So here we just get the direction, go into that function, and pass in the current direction. Okay, so now we've got a direction that should always be swapping. Let's do a quick test. So just print out the direction, let's see. By default, it should be on down. So if I press the R, it should say left. Yep, left. And then go into up, then to right, then down, and so on. All right, everything works. Now, as we saw on these functions on the building object type, it already takes a direction. So here, instead of putting in the default one, let's choose the one that we're currently using. Let's see how this function is set up. So here on the grid position list, as you can see, the only difference is swapping the width and height for height and width. So on the down and up, we've got some horizontal values, and on left and right, we've got some vertical values. Then we've got the grid position list, so all very simple. Just like this, we should already be filling in the correct grid positions. Let's see. All right, so by default, we have direction down. So if I click here, it should occupy this one and this one. Click, and yep, it did work. All right. Now I press the R. Now I'm looking left. So now if I click here, it should occupy this one and this one. Let's see. Click, and yep, it did work. Now I press again. Now it's pointing up, so it should place here and here. So click, yep, it did work. Now again for the right, it should place, if I click here, here, and here. So click, and yep, it did work. Alright, so all the grid positions are all correctly being rotated. Now let's actually rotate the visual. Over here on the scriptable object, there's another function to get the rotation angle of a certain direction. So if it's down, it's rotated by 0. If it's to the left, by 90, 180, 270. Alright. So let's use this and apply it to the instantiated prefab. Over here on the grid building system, when we instantiate it, we're calling instantiate, passing in this prefab, then we pass in this grid form position, and then the quaternion identity. This is what we need to change. Let's go into quaternion, and we're going to create a new Euler angle, and we're working in 3D. So we just want rotation on the y-axis, so 0 on the x. Then for the y, let's go into the placed object type, and we get the rotation angle. Pass in the current direction, okay, and then on the z, also 0 rotation. Okay, so like this, it should be rotated.
Now, I need to... Let's see if this actually works for me. I feel like I did this last time and it like blew up in my face magically. I'm not rotating around the Y, am I? I'm rotating around the Z. So X that way, Y that way. Z is in and out like 2D planes pointing at me or away from me.
And then on the Z, also 0.
Yeah, so place object type 2D, rotation.
Rotation. Okay, so like this, it should be rotated. So first the default rotation, click, yep, it works. Now press the R, and I'm going to click here, and yep, it did work. It did rotate 90 degrees. So it worked, but you can obviously see the issue. We're rotating around the transform pivot, which is right here on the corner. So as we rotate 90 degrees, yep, it occupies down here. So after we rotate, we essentially need to offset it by a certain amount. So in this case, we need to offset by the width over here on the z-axis. So here...
Let's see if we at least get that. Nice. For me, it rotated a completely different direction. Let's see. Hit it again. So it's, I mean, it's working. Looks a little funky. Oh, 1 second. Hey, sorry about that, folks. Apparently, I forgot about certain planned events. Anyways. Oh, yeah. All right. What was it doing? What were we doing? We were looking at... Oh, yeah. So, we did get it to rotate. You can't place it there. You can't place it there, which is good. You can't place it there. There's an error, but, you know, it's fine. Rotate it. There. Rotate there. Left. So it rotates it to the left. It throws it all the way over there. Rotates it up. Rotates it there. It's those two. Rotate it to the right. And it's those two. And then you go back down, and it's those two again. So we're gonna have to work on the offset. Okay, so there we go.
Here is another function on the scriptable object to do just that. It calculates the rotation offset of a certain direction. So if it's pointing down, there's no offset, so it gets placed exactly where it is. If we rotate to the left, then it gets offset on the Y, which is really the Z, by as much as the width, and same thing for the up and right. So here we just need to apply that over here to the spawn position. Okay, so here it is. We go into the scriptable object, we get the rotation offset for the current direction, and we get a vector2 int. Then we calculate the final placed object worm position, so we get the grid worm position, so the same one that we've been using previously. And then we simply apply our offset to it. So the offset is on the X and on the Z, and we just multiply that offset by the grid cell size.
All right. So I got with me right now. How do I look at changes? Okay. So right now I got one change. It's in here. It does comes over here. And our can build. This bad boy. Does you know what? I'm going to actually hold off. I want to crap. I want to see exactly the difference between our setup here. Go back, because when he rotates his visuals, they go in different locations than mine. Let's see. Got our prefab. So I got my longhouse. Longhouse is house 4. Let's look at the prefab. So my anchor is down there. Alright, yeah, this is a better one. Anchor's down there. So yeah, it is rotating around the anchor. Okay. Yeah, the anchor's always right there. Okay. All right, so can't really see that thing. Let me do this right render or that's so tiny. Let's scale that up a bit, shall we? Okay. Can't see it at all. Anchor too tiny. Okay, well, let's see if I can do that. I want our anchor to be a little bigger so I can try and see it. I know it's gonna. Let's do this. My prefab shows that. I save it. My prefabs all have that. Okay. Put this down. I don't see it. Heck. Oh. Longhouse 5 with height. I can see it. It's plain as day. Done something wrong here. Chances are it's a yes. Okay. Yeah, I'm not seeing it. I don't know why. So I'll deal with that. Oh, wait a minute. Ah. That's why. It's not on the visual, it's on the prefab itself. That's why we did it. That's why we separated everything, right? That, remove components. Put that back down. That 0.5, right? Check out, go to our visual. Oh, whatever. There you go. Okay. Alright, so now we need to work on the offset.
Which is right here on the corner. So as we rotate 90 degrees, yep, it occupies down here. So after we rotate, we essentially need to offset it by a certain amount. So in this case, we need to offset by the width over here on the z-axis. So here is another function on the scriptable object to do just that. It calculates the rotation offset of a certain direction. So if it's pointing down, there's no offset, so it gets placed exactly where it is. If we rotate to the left, then it gets offset on the y, which is really the z, by as much as the width, and same thing for the up and right. So here we just need to apply that over here to the spawn position. Okay, so here it is. We go into the scriptable object, we get the rotation offset for the current direction, and we get a vector2 int. Then we calculate the final placed object worm position, so we get the grid worm position, so the same one that we've been using previously. And then we simply apply our offset to it. So the offset is on the x and on the z, and we just multiply that offset by the grid cell size. So now,
I think this is where usually where I messed up last time. All right, so come in here and do vector2 int. Yeah. Placed object. Rotation. Offset. Really would like to try. I'll focus on it for everybody's sake. See. Got create a variable. We got our vector3 placed object world position grid get world position x y for me plus new vector3 rotation offset dot x. For the other one, it's rotating it around. Moves it on the Z. I'm not moving my Z, I'm moving my XY, so rotation. Y. I hope this works correctly.
now everything should be correct. So here, first of all, place down, click here. Yep, it worked. Now press the R. So now on the left, now if I place here, yep, correct. Place again, up, let's place here. Yep, now it's pointing up. Place again, now for the right, click here, and yep, it is pointing to the right.
All right, let's see if it works for us. So it's down. It's down to the left. there. Let's see. So the units are here, but my visual's off. I needed to shift. So let's see. The one is to the left. Offset. So this. So for me, all right, let's look at this. So for me, this is down. It's facing down. Rotate to the left. Pointing off to the left. These two are occupied. Rotates it that way, so I need my X to shift over one. So what would that be? Might need to do. Let's see. Boy, we are fudging with everything, huh? Do that. Change this to height. It's not doing it. I'm not actually getting it at all. Hold on. I don't even think this has anything to do with it, to be honest. Okay, so
time, expose the array 4 of our rows to the right, place down, set by the grid cell size.
Right, so what we're doing, is getting the rotation. Can build it. Gets the world position where he clicked. Height of it. To the left. That's not really doing anything. If you mess with it here. Very much grasping at straws here. He changed that. I didn't notice that. I'm still doing this. I did not realize he had changed this. first. Let me just muck. Yeah, I don't think that's... Oh, I didn't realize this was being changed because you're still placing it down right there. Let's see. Let's give that a whirl. Just taking that. I mean, I'm not using it, so I feel a little dense, but somebody's got to do it, right? There. Let's see. That was all that was needed. Apparently that was all that was needed. Alright. Yep. Oh, wait, maybe not. So it didn't work. It worked on some rotation, not all. Let's see here. So for left, it actually pushes it way far up. These two are occupied, but it's over because when it's facing up, it's facing up at x0 height. It needs to go up. Rather, it just needs to go over by the width. Let's try that. I feel like those two might need to be swapped. Let's see. Let's do this. Ah, jeez. When it's to the left. Oh, I changed it so it's a little bit broken. That's fine. Here we go left. So left needs to go over by the height. The X needs to be the height. Okay, let's see if we got up fixed. Hey, 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 there you go. What a baller. Alright, so that's fixed. Ha. Alright. We need to fix our need to fix that other rotation. So we're facing left. Did I say the needs to have the height? Or it needs to go over by the height? I should have paid attention. It's like a story of my life right now. Sounds good. Rotate it to the left. Okay, no. I think this just needs to be height. correct. Probably commit only one once I get this done. And this is probably just going to be, I feel like this one might be width. That's fine. Left. That's fine. Is that how that's supposed to be? I think I'm pushing it over one too far, but that's good. That still needs to be fixed. And I think that's good. I kind of prefer the pivot. I'd prefer it if the pivot and where I click were always in the same box, as opposed to just rotating the image in the pivot, but the pivot would end up being somewhere else. I don't like that. For the pivot location always be where the cursor is at, not somewhere else. Because it works that way for down. I would expect to rotate it. Oh, huh, it does that for left. Yeah, it's just up and right where the pivot is somewhere else. Okay, maybe we need to tweak something a little bit. Let's see. Let's see. Oh, that's not supposed to happen. Oh, technically. Wait, what? That works. Oh my. I don't know what I did. Okay, so I pushed it up. I don't need to push it up. It needs to just come straight down. So huh? Let's see. Okay. My Y offset needs to be 1. So technically, that should be a width, right? No. Right. It goes there. It should go there. Okay. And then I need it to be height 1 more to shift it over completely. Gotcha. Okay. So just height. Okay. I'm gonna just fix it one at a time. So we got down pivots there, left will pivot there, up pivots there. Perfect. And then right should. Oh. Right needs to pivot up 1. Or. Okay, so. Let's see. So this actually. I mean, it's doing what I want it to do visually, but I also need the object to rotate around the pivot as well. So this one's getting it to rotate. This is, where's my offset come from? Offset. Gets passed in. So my position list. Where it happens. My offset. It's always going to have that one off. I don't know how to account for that. Let me watch the rest of the video, see if he...
So now everything should be correct. So here, first of all, place down, click here. Yep, it worked. Now press the R. So now on the left, now if I place here, yep, correct. Place again, up, let's place here. Yep, now it's pointing up. Place again, now for the right, click here, and yep, it is pointing to the right. All right, so we've got all 4 of our rotations. Now let's just point, work. Now press the R. Things should be correct. So here, first of all, place down, click here. Yep, it worked. Now press the R. So now on the left, now if I place here, yep, correct. Place again, there. Up, let's place here. Yep, now it's pointing up. Place again, now for the right, click here, and yep, it is pointing to the right. All right, so we've got all 4 of our rotations. Now let's just add some logic to swap the building type. So for that, we can just go up here.
So he's not really finicky about where on the visual is pivoting in this block highlighted. Yes. I mean, it gets the job done. No need to be overly excessive, I suppose, but I prefer it that way. Yeah, so that one's good. The height. I'm gonna try something really dumb and reckless. Everybody, hold on. I think this one's supposed to be width, right? No, this one's supposed to be width. Try that one more time. I preferred if I were to put this here, and I'd put the next one here. Next one here. Let's see. Next one. Yeah. So when I click, I would actually have to put it there. That seems a little off to me. There. There. And I'd have to put it there. Then they're all rotating around that pivot. Worst case scenario, it just doesn't work that way. We'll see. Weird. This one works. That's remember what we changed there. I don't think that's really gonna have an impact. Whatever. Yeah, that's not gonna change anything. Oh, that broke all kinds of things. Oh, that broke a lot of things. Yeah, let's not do that. All right, so we'll just have to live with that, and we'll say Added proper rotation and offset. Objects. Push that.
Instead of exposing the placed object tab, let's expose the array of it. So here I'm exposing a list, and then let's hide the private one, so it's the selected one in all of them. Then on awake, let's default it to the first one on the list. And then here, just listening to some alpha inputs and swapping this one out for a different one on the list. Now finally, just need to populate that array. Okay, let's test. Now by default, we should be placing the building. Yep, there it is. Now I press the 2 key. Now I place a fire station, press the 3, and now a gas station, and now that one, and on 5 that one, and on 6, yep, I've got a mansion. And now I can rotate it, and there you go, it rotates everything, and everything is indeed working correctly. Alright, so we can already build anywhere. Now let's handle our demolish. So this is pretty simple, but requires a bit more data. For example, let's say I want to demolish this mansion. And I put my mouse here, and I do a demolish. So this grid position contains a reference to the transform, so I can easily destroy it. But then let's think of what happens with the grid position. I can clear this one since I click directly on it, but right now I don't know what other position should also be cleared. So that means that we need to keep track of what positions each building is occupying. So in order to handle that, let's refactor our code to work with a proper class instead of just a simple transform. So let's make a new script. For this one, let's name it the placed object. And we're going to attach this script onto all of our objects. So for example, this is why I separated the prefabs from the visuals. So the visuals just have the visual.
I see. All right. So takes all our prefabs, tags them with. That's interesting. I think that's where it's gonna end for now, folks, because I'm hungry. And yeah, I get back into the swing of things and build this up again. But it's almost done. We're at 21 minutes in the video, and yeah, hopefully once we get this through, we will we'll have some more fun. Might change out the visuals later, because rotating a house upside down doesn't make any sense. I might turn it into like paths or something, so we can like that walk around, or make it look like essentially if you were to be building a city or something, you could have like paths or roads or something. That makes sense for rotating around if it's a top down, but not a house. All right, thanks for tuning in, and I will catch you guys